Should you be afraid of wire fraud? Yes, you should. We just went to a training class and we heard a story of this poor couple that lost over $700,000 from wire fraud.
Can you imagine?
It should have been one of the most exciting, fun times of their life. They're moving to a new state, they're getting a beautiful home, and instead it turned into one of the worst situations in their life. To avoid that in your life, watch this video to the very end and we'll give you some tips to help avoid that.
We're David and Amy Vender with the Vender Group serving South Metro Atlanta. If you like this,
please like and subscribe. Yes. It helps us out a ton.
When you're buying a house, that is most likely the biggest investment you're ever going to make in your life. We don't want you to fall victim. We don't want to hear, thankfully, we don't have any of those horror stories, and we hope we never do with our clients.
We do things to help avoid that.
Yes, we do. When we were doing research for this, we were checking it out, and National Association of Realtors said that there was $6.9 billion in 2021.
And it's only gotten worse since then.
Yes, that was lost to wire fraud in real estate transactions, not other types of transactions, just real estate transactions. And I think that's been double-digit increases in 2022 based on what I've read. So that is really scary.
So what can you do to help avoid this? Well, first of all, in Georgia, we use closing attorneys. Some other states use title companies. In Georgia, you want to use a closing attorney. That is their bread and butter. They do it every day. They're doing 5, 10, 20 transactions a day. That means that people in their office are trained to look out for wire fraud, whether it's the receptionist, probably all the way down to the person who cleans the office.
I don't know if it's that extent, but the point being that they know what they're doing.
In fact, that story that we heard about that couple that lost $700,000, they told their real estate agent, we want to use such and such lawyer because they helped us out with this other situation and we really like them. Well, that
other situation might have been their specialty, but real estate evidently wasn't.
That office wasn't in tune to all the ins and outs with wire fraud. They only did a few a year.
So what are you going to be wiring? Obviously, you're going to be wiring your funds to close the transaction, whether you're paying cash or whether you're getting a loan. Yep. You're going to be bringing some funds to the table that you're going to be wiring. Prior to that, you might be wiring your earnest money, which is typically about 1%. So that can be a substantial amount of money too. You don't want to lose any of it. You may get wiring instructions. We've heard stories that people have gotten text messages, they've gotten phone calls, they've gotten emails saying you need to wire your funds.
Now you probably will get an email from your closing attorney.
Yes, you will.
Probably be encrypted.
It should be encrypted.
It better be encrypted. And then you want to verify that. Now don't verify it with a phone number that's on that email. Make sure that the phone number that you call back is one that you know is for that office, or get it from another source, looking up online.
You may have already talked to that attorney's office. You may have already talked to the pre-closer or even the closer. So you may already have that number in your phone, and in that situation, you're okay.
You're good to go.
But the point here is always verify. You cannot be careful enough.
The other situation, realtors aren't exempt from this. They get their information hijacked as well.
Now, we do everything we can personally, and we are very thankful. Keller Williams, from the get-go, has made us aware that this is something you need to be careful of, educate your clients. And so we have done that. We have made it clear as soon as we start working with a buyer or seller, you're never going to get anything from us stating that you need to wire funds.
If you see an email, a text from us saying, here's your wiring instructions, you know it's fraud.
But not everybody does that. So unfortunately, there are stories out there. There was an older woman, unfortunately, she called her agent and said, I'm leaving the bank now. I just wired the money from your email. And the agent said, what email? And sadly, this woman had sent hundreds of thousands, and it was everything she owned.
And it was gone.
Yes.
And that was her fault for not verifying it. Now, a good reputable law firm that does closings, they have insurance to cover that if something happens on their side.
But only if it happens on their side.
Only if it happens on their side. If you don't do your due diligence and you make the mistake, it's on you.
So in closing, wire fraud
is a real thing to be scared of.
Yes, it is. So get a reputable attorney. Make sure that you are verifying again the information so that when you wire your funds, you're wiring it to the correct place. You should have an encrypted email to do so.
So those are things that should protect you. If you have any other questions about real estate or you want to move to the South Metro Atlanta area, we're your team. All our information is in the description below.
Yes, and whether that's in a week or 6 months or even a year, go ahead and contact us. We love that.
And while you're looking that up, go ahead and hit like and subscribe.
Thanks so much.